The 14th day of the first month is the Passover of Yahweh, and in the 15th day of this month is the feast. 7 days shall unleavened bread be eaten, and the first day shall be a holy convocation. Ye shall do no manner of servile work. Okay, and in the 14th day of the first month is the Passover of Yahweh. All right, the Passover is descriptive to the sacrifice. On the 14th day, the sacrifice is being prepared. It is the Passover of Yahweh. It's talking about the sacrifice, the lamb. Okay, we know and understand that Messiah is the Passover lamb. So it is the sacrifice of the Passover lamb. Right here on the 14th. So Scripture's not wrong. It's the way we're seeing it that's wrong. Because one is the preparation of the sacrifice. The sacrifice is done in the evening, and we're eating it on the 15th day with unleavened bread. This is what the Scriptures is telling us. It's not telling us that there's an 8-day festival, that the 14th day is Passover, and then 7 days after that is unleavened bread. It's not giving us an 8-day festival. It's giving us a 7-day festival, which is unleavened bread, because that's what it's called. In Leviticus 23, he calls unleavened bread a festival, and he doesn't call Passover the festival. He calls unleavened bread the festival. But let's continue. On the 14th, it's the preparation of the lamb. At night, on the 15th, we're eating it with unleavened bread, with our loins girded, our sandals, our staffs in our hand. The firstborn of Egypt are dead. Pharaoh wakes up in the middle of the night, where Yahweh's bringing us out in the morning by night. All right here on the 15th day. Extremely fast. Okay? So, Exodus 12:6. Let's do Deuteronomy 16:6. I'm sorry. Let's do that first. Deuteronomy 6:16. Oh, 16:6. I'm sorry. Deuteronomy 16:6. But at the place which Yahweh thy Elohim shall choose to place his name, and there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at evening, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou comest out forth of Egypt. He says to sacrifice the Passover. We cannot sacrifice the feast. Only the lamb can be the sacrifice. So we see that Passover is also, the lamb is also called Passover. So when he says keep the Passover until the 14th day, keep the lamb until the 14th day, kill it at the evening going into the 15th, and eat it with unleavened bread. Eat the Passover, eat the lamb with unleavened bread on the 15th day, because that's when unleavened bread begins. And you eat it with the Passover lamb that you kept all the way from the 10th to the 14th of the evening. But at the place which Yahweh thy Elohim shall choose to place his name, and there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at evening, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest out forth of Egypt. That's Aviv. That's the season that we came out of Egypt. Okay? Numbers chapter 9, verse 5 through 6. Not for thy righteousness or for thy uprightness. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's continue. Not for thy righteousness. I'm sorry. I'm in Deuteronomy. Numbers 9. I'm sorry. I know that didn't sound right. Numbers 9, 5 through 6. And they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month at evening in the wilderness of Sinai, according to all that Yahweh commanded Moses. So did the children of Israel. And they were certain men who were defiled by the dead body of a man, that they could not keep the Passover on that day. And they came before Moses and before Aaron on that day. Okay, so this keep or kept here is asah. Strong's numbers, Hebrew Strong's numbers 6213, and the primitive root to do or make, to prepare. It does not mean to eat. That particular keep or kept there does not mean to eat the Passover. It means to prepare the Passover. Okay? What is being done on the 14th day is the preparation of the Passover. That's what's being done on the 14th day. There's also a doctrine that says we shouldn't be keeping Passover unless we're in the land. Obviously, we see here in Numbers 9, verses 5 through 6, that they kept the Passover in the wilderness. They weren't in the land yet. But that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother study. But we see here that kept or keep is not eat. It's preparation. The preparation is being done on the 14th. The eating goes on with unleavened bread on the 15th. 2 Chronicles 35:1. Second Chronicles 35:1. Second Chronicles 35:1. Moreover, Josiah kept a Passover unto Yahweh in Jerusalem, and they killed the Passover on the 14th day of the first month. They killed it. We see in Second Chronicles 35:1, they killed the Passover on the 14th day. Okay? So this is what happens. Okay? Scripture tells us on the 14th day, at the evening of the 14th, you kill it. Okay? It's telling us at the evening. Josiah is telling us, Second Chronicle is letting us know that he killed it on the 14th day. The evening of the 14th is still, he was keeping the commandment when to kill it. Okay? It's described as the lamb or the sacrifice on the 14th day. It is to be killed, not eaten. You don't eat it on the 14th day. You kill it. You prepare it on the 14th day. Okay? So, later on, we'll look into the fulfillment of Messiah keeping, either keeping Passover, being the Passover, or both. This is a little conflict that people have in the walk, whether he kept it, whether he was the Passover, whether he kept it an earlier date. The Jews have a different date than Messiah, so on and so forth. It just doesn't work. Also, we see that from the 15th to the 21st, it's 7 days. A lot of people try to do the simple mathematics and say 14 plus 7 is 21. But the thing is, that's because we count the way we count. We don't count the way Yah counts. It's possible that from the 15th to the 21st can be 7 days. Okay, so at the going down of the sun on the 14th day begins the 15th day, right? And then from the going down of the sun where it began the 15th day to the end of the 15th day is 1 day. So this is the 15th day, 1 day. From sunset to sunset, 1 day. From sunset to sunset, 2 days. From sunset to sunset, 3 days. From sunset to sunset, 4 days. From sunset to sunset, 5 days. From sunset to sunset, 6 days. From sunset to sunset, 7 days. So it is possible for us to get 7 days of unleavened bread if we start at the 15th day. But we try to do simple mathematics and say 14 plus 7 is 21. But what happens is, if we start at the 14th day, from sunset to sunset 1 day, from sunset to sunset 2 days,